hello everyone. So today we are going to start the last portion of P block element 2, that is group number 18. This group number 18 is very easy. Last class I have explained the interhalogen compounds. In interhalogen compounds I missed one point, and that point was the hydrolysis of interhalogen compounds. So when you do the hydrolysis of interhalogen compounds, so we will get one acid and one gas of halogen. So it will available in the textbook, you can read it, but whatever the structures, electronic configurations, their hybridization which I have done, that are very important, which you have to do it. Clear? So today we are going to start finally group number 18. Today I will just give you the introduction, we will discuss certain important property, and there is one very important question which I am going to discuss today. That important question you have to note it down. Okay. So you can make a note, group number 18. Okay. So group number 18 elements are known as noble elements, or you can say inert elements. Inert means, as the name indicates, inert, which are non-reactable. So such kind of elements are known as what? Inert elements. So first we will see which are the elements of group number 18. So group number 18 elements are helium, then we can say neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. So this name is helium. Okay, I can give the name here, helium, then I can say neon, then I can say argon, then krypton, then we can say xenon, then we can say radon. This radon is a radioactive element. And secondly, these all are gases. So they all are gases. Okay. Now the group number 18, we are telling that inert elements means these are non-reactive elements, means they will not react. When they will not react with any elements, means they will not form a compounds. So why we are studying this? No, it's not like that. They will form a compound. Yes, they will form a compound. Like xenon will form number of compounds. We are going to study about xenon. So this xenon is forming number of compounds. Why, I will tell you. Okay. So the question comes that when group number 18 are known as a noble elements, or they are known as an inert elements, means they are non-reactable. They are not reacting with any other elements to form a compound. Then why these elements are to be studied? So it is not like that all the elements do not form the compounds. No. As we move outside the group, there is one element, xenon. This is very important. Xenon. This xenon is the element which forms the number of compounds like oxygen, with fluorine, it forms oxide, fluorides. Okay. So this xenon forms the number of compounds. So when it forms the number of compounds, it will be having some property, some chemical property, some physical property and some uses. So due to this xenon, we are going to study about group number 18. Believe me, this topic is very easy, and within 2-3 lectures only I will complete it. Okay. So first we will see their occurrence. So you can write down along with the occurrence. So if you write down the helium occurrence, it is the second most abundant element. Please along with me you also write down abundant element. Okay. And in the atmosphere is nearly available in traces. So it is available traces in atmosphere. Who? Neon. So traces in atmosphere. Next we can say neon. So neon is also found in the traces in the atmosphere, very less proportion traces in atmosphere, and this also you know in the lower classes we have studied that whole the atmosphere is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and in that remaining 1% number of gases like these gases are available in the atmosphere. So traces in atmosphere, and it is generated during lightning. Okay, you can see at the roadside also, neon lights are available, neon light. In foreign countries, that the police will have one like a stick, and that stick will be having some light. So that light will be like greenish color. The greenish color light we say is a neon light. Okay. So we can say next is argon. So it is found in nature. And in air it is nearly 0.947%. It is available in air. So it is available in air is nearly 0.947%. You can write down the krypton. So krypton is also found in atmosphere. found in atmosphere nearly of 1 ppm, that is 1 parts per million. Then next we can write down xenon, again traces in atmosphere and in certain compounds of its oxides and fluorides, and this radon is a radioactive element, so it is available during the radium. Okay, so you remember this, these are not important, clear. So these are the certain occurrence of the group number 18 elements. Please write down this or take a screenshot. Then we will go to the next certain properties. So the properties are very easy, like atomic radius, and we can say the ionization electronic configuration, ionization enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy, I will like to give you one point based on the electron gain enthalpy. So that is very important, clear. So take a screenshot here. Taken, okay. These all are gases that you have to remember. So from helium to radon, these all are gases. So first we will discuss about the general electronic configuration. So the general electronic configuration is NS2 NP6 except helium. So helium is having 1s2, clear. So the general electronic configuration is what? NS2 NP6. You can see here s orbital is also completely filled up and p orbital is also completely filled up. That's why they are inert elements. Neither they can lose the electron nor they can gain the electron. But it's not the case for xenon. Why? I will tell you just now. You will also understand. You will also say, yes sir, xenon can form the compounds. So what is the general electronic configuration? The general electronic configuration is NS2 NP6. Yes or no? So NS2 NP6 means S is also completely filled up and P is also completely filled up except helium. Helium electronic configuration is 1s2. So according to the classification of periodicity of elements, you can tell me, sir, when helium electronic configuration is 1s2, so helium should be in the S block element, but why helium is in a P block element? The reason for keeping the helium in the this group number 18 due to its property. See, as we know from the classification point that outermost orbit electronic configuration decide the element of its group. For example, if you see, what do you mean by S block element? S block element are one whose outermost orbital field is S orbital. P block element are one whose outermost orbit is field is P orbital. Whereas in helium the outermost orbit itself is S, so it should be in S block, but why it is in a P block? The answer, the reason for this, due to its property. So helium property was not resembling to group number 1 or 2, but it was resembling to group number 18. That's why we have kept in group number 18. That's why helium is as a group number 18. So general electronic configuration of a noble gas element, that is the group number 18 element, is NS2 NP6 except helium. So helium electronic configuration is 1s2. Clear? Next point. So next point we will see that atomic radius. So write down along with me, atomic radius. So it's very simple. See, as we move downside the group from top to bottom, this everyone knows this, okay. So from top to bottom, atomic radius, tell me man, atomic radius increases, yes or no? Atomic radius increases. Once more, I will write down the golden formula. The golden formula is what? Z effective is directly proportional to what? IE, yes or no? Is directly proportional to 1 by R, directly proportional to E. So this is your golden formula, that if nucleus force increases, so ionization enthalpy also increases, radius decreases, electronegativity increases. So see, atomic radius from top to bottom, as we move downside from top to bottom, atomic radius increases. That is, helium is the smallest, then neon, then argon, then krypton, xenon and radon. So no exception we have for this. Okay, and what can you give the reason for this? The reason for this atomic radius continuously increasing, you can give that as we move from top to bottom, at each and every time new shell is being filled up, so the distance between the outermost orbit and nucleus increases, so size increases, hence while moving from top to bottom, atomic radius increases. Write down along with me, write down atomic radius. As we move from top to bottom, at each and every time new shell is being filled up, as we move from top to bottom, at each and every time new shell is being filled up, the distance between the outermost orbit and nucleus increases, the distance between the outermost orbit and nucleus increases, size increases, size increases, size increases. Clear? So write down this point. Next we will write down ionization enthalpy. See, so what do you mean by ionization enthalpy? So now everyone knows this. Okay, this is a completion of your pre-block element. So ionization enthalpy means what? Enthalpy is nothing but an energy. So energy required to remove an electron from an outermost orbit is known as a what? Ionization enthalpy. So see here, as we move downside the group, so nucleus force on outermost orbit, the nucleus force on the outermost orbit decreases. Why? Because as we move downside the group, at each and every time new shell is being filled up. So when new shell is being filled up, the distance between the outermost orbit and nucleus increases. When the distance between the outermost orbit and nucleus increases, the nucleus force on the outermost orbit electron also decreases. When the nucleus force on the outermost orbit electron decreases, so it is easy to remove the electron with the supplication of small energy. So it is easy to remove the electron when? While moving downside the group. While moving downside the group, it is easy to remove the electron. That's why ionization enthalpy decreases. Or in another way, we can also say, as we move downside the group, as each and every time new shell is being filled up, so the distance between the outermost orbit and nucleus increases, so size increases, means size is increasing. As we know that relation between the ionization enthalpy and radius is inversely proportional, so when the size increases, ionization enthalpy decreases. So moving downside the group from top to bottom, ionization enthalpy decreases. Yes or no? So helium will be having the most ionization enthalpy, then neon, then argon, then krypton, then xenon, then radon. Write down this. Write down ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy is the energy. Ionization enthalpy is the energy to remove an electron from gaseous atom. To remove an electron from a gaseous atom. As we move downside the group, radius increases. As we move downside the group, radius increases. As we move downside the group, radius increases, comma, whereas IE is inversely proportional to R. Write down. Whereas IE in this symbolic form, write down. IE is inversely proportional to R. Whereas IE is inversely proportional to R, comma, therefore ionization enthalpy decreases down the group. Therefore ionization enthalpy decreases down the group. Ionization enthalpy decreases down the group. Clear? Okay, next we will see electronegativity. Now see here students, as we know, as we move downside the group, ionization enthalpy decreases. Ionization enthalpy decreases. Ionization enthalpy decreases means as we move downside the group, at the last elements, if we supply very less energy, then also electron can remove. If electron is removed, means transfer of electron will occur, and transfer of electron will occur means reaction will take place. So that's why as we move downside the group, when we come to the xenon, so ionization enthalpy decreases very less value. So ionization enthalpy decreases to a very less value, so we can supply less amount of energy. When we supply the less amount of energy, the electron starts to come out from the xenon. When the electron starts to come out from the xenon, that's why xenon will have the capacity to lose the electron. So when any element will have a capacity to lose or gain the electron, so they can do the reaction. That's why due to least ionization enthalpy value of xenon and least value of electronegativity, xenon is forming compounds. Understood? So it is not like that the noble elements are the elements which will not form the compound. No, most of the noble element does not form the compound. Only the xenon is the element which is forming certain, krypton also forming, but xenon is forming number of elements. Why? Because while coming from top to bottom and when we reach to the xenon, the ionization enthalpy decreases to a very less value, due to which if we supply less energy to the xenon atom, the xenon atom starts to lose the electron, and when any element, if they start to lose or gain the electron, the element can form the compounds. That's why xenon is forming the compound. Clear this part? So you can write down the next, electronegativity. So again we can see, what do you mean by electronegativity? Electronegativity is an ability of an atom to attract the shared pair of an electron. Shared pair, electronegativity, electron affinity. So I am talking about electronegativity. So again when we come downside, see again radius increases, so electronegativity decreases. You can give these two reasons or you can give these two reasons. So write down, as we move downside the group from top to bottom, electronegativity decreases. So helium is having the most, then neon, then argon, then krypton, then xenon, then radon. So this is also one second most reason for the formation of compound by the xenon. Okay, xenon is having also the least electronegative element. So when the electronegativity decreases, so electronegativity decreases means it can attack easily electron. It can attack easily electron means they can do the reaction. So write down, as we move downside the group from top to bottom, size increases, hence electronegativity decreases. Okay, now see here next point. So today I will take very less time, within a short time I will complete. 2 more points are there, then I will wind up the lecture. From the next class I will do certain reaction. Within 2-3 lectures this chapter will get over. So next we will start alcohol phenol ether. That is also a very long chapter, it will also take more time. So next is electron gain enthalpy. So this everyone knows this. What do you mean by electron gain enthalpy? Electron gain enthalpy means when energy released. Electron gain means electron is gained. Enthalpy. So energy released during the gaining of an electron means when you give the electron to an early element and it releases the energy, so that energy released due to gaining of electron, that is known as a what? Electron gain enthalpy. Now you see students, the general electronic configuration is NS2NP5 for the group number NS2NP6, general electronic configuration of group number 18. So by the general electronic configuration only I can say that the group number 18 elements all are completely closed up. So they do not require electron, they cannot lose the electron, they cannot gain the electron. But by somehow if I starts to give the electron, so they will release the enormous amount of energy. So that we can say that as the electronic configuration is closed up, completely closed up, but if I give the electron, so that we have to supply, when they gain the electron due to the closed electronic configuration, they release the enormous amount of energy on gaining the electrons. Hence the electron gain enthalpy is highly positive, very positive for whole for whole group number 18. Write down, the electron gain enthalpy is most positive. The electron gain enthalpy is most positive. The electron gain enthalpy is the most positive for the group number 18 elements. Most positive for the group number 18 elements. From the group number 18 elements due to its electronic configuration of NS2NP6. Due to NS2NP6. Clear? You can read from your textbook. Okay. So next is clade threads. See this, I am going to discuss a very important point for today's class, clade threads. First we will understand what do you mean by clade threads. You are going to listen the first time this word, no, clade threads. So clade threads means what? See, you know, a bird is kept in the cage, yes or no? So why the bird is kept in the cage? Because a cage is closed from the outside and inside the cage there is a space. So in that space the bird is going. So similarly clade threads are nothing but one kind of a cage compound like crystal compound. So that cage compound, inside the crystal there is a space and that space is filled up by the noble gas elements. So that type of a compound we say as a clade threads. So whenever we have one crystal compounds, if in a crystal compound, inside the crystal compound, if noble gases are filled up, then that type of a compound form are known as a clade threads. So this noble gas have a capacity to enter into the certain crystal lattice and fill the space in the crystal lattice and forms the compound. So that type of a compounds, due to filling the gas inside the crystal, that type of a compound we say as a clade threads. Clear this part? So clade threads is nothing but a what? It's kind of one type of a cage compound. See, for example, if I have one crystal and that crystal is empty from inside, So this helium, this noble gas elements have a capacity to enter in that crystal and fill that vacant space inside the crystal. So if noble gas will go enter in that crystal space and fill that completely space, and the compound so form of the crystal which is filled inside with the noble gas, that type of a compound we say as a clathrates. Clear this part? So helium, neon, krypton, xenon and radon. So these are the elements of a group number 18. So helium and neon do not form clathrates. Krypton, xenon, radon, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. So helium and neon do not form clathrates. This is a very important NEET point according to NEET exam. Clathrate means what? Clathrates are nothing but one kind of a cage compounds. So a crystal will form, such a crystal which is hollow from the inside, and that hollow space is filled by these gases. So when the hollow space is filled by the gases, that whole compound which is formed of crystal filled with the noble gas is known as a clathrates. So helium and neon cannot enter in that crystal, forms the clathrate, hence helium and neon do not form the clathrates, whereas argon, krypton, xenon and radon have a capacity to enter into the vacant space of the crystal lattice and form the clathrate compounds, in which xenon is the most capacity. So xenon have most capacity to form clathrate, Understanding clathrates? Are you understanding or not? So clathrate means what? Clathrates are one kind of a cage compounds in which the noble gases are filled inside it. Suppose you understand there is a one cage, and in that cage there is a bird. So bird is a noble gas and cage is a crystal compound. So when bird enter into that cage, means noble gas enter into that crystal, that hole is known as a what? Clathrates. Get down. So clathrates are known as cage compounds. Clathrates are known as a cage compounds. When noble gas are trapped, within the cavities of crystal lattice, when the noble gas are trapped within the cavities of crystal lattice of certain organic and inorganic substance. So that crystal is made up of what? Organic and inorganic substance. So are trapped within the cavity of crystal lattice of certain organic and inorganic substance. Helium and neon do not have capacity to form clathrates. Helium and neon do not have a capacity to form clathrates. Please remember, this is very important point. Helium and neon do not have a capacity to form clathrates, whereas argon, krypton, xenon, radon can form clathrates. Whereas argon, krypton, xenon and radon can form clathrates, out of which xenon is having the more capacity to form clathrates. Out of which xenon is having the more capacity to form the clathrates. Clear this part? So in the next class I will continue with the lecture. For today, that's it. Thank you.